The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Są dwa podstawowe środki służące do manipulowania i kontrolowania ludzi. Jeden z nich jest po prostu kontrolą informacji. Jeśli nie znamy wszystkich faktów na dany temat, to nasza opinia w danej kwestii nie będzie bardziej trafna niż jakość docierającej do nas informacji. Amerykanie formują swoje opinie na podstawie serwowanej im informacji. Jeśli zdrowy rozum powie Ci, że informacja, jaką serwują Ci główne media, jest w istocie dezinformacją, czy nawet kłamstwem, to zdrowy rozum powie Ci też, że Twoje zdanie, zbudowane na podstawie tej informacji, jest jedynie przedłużeniem tego kłamstwa. Niestety Ameryka i w zasadzie cała reszta świata otrzymuje informację, którą się zniekształca, przerabia, preparuje dla społeczeństwa, dla konsumpcji. To dlatego nasz kraj i cały świat jest tak intensywnie zaśmiecany rozrywką, mass-mediami, widowiskami telewizyjnymi, parkami rozrywki, narkotykami, alkoholem czy jakąkolwiek formą zabawy. Wszystko to po to, aby utrzymać ludzki umysł w stanie nieustającej zabawy, żebyś przypadkiem, zbyt intensywnie myśląc, nie stanął na drodze ważnym ludziom. Obudź się i zrozum, że są ludzie, którzy kierują Twoim życiem, a Ty nawet o tym nie wiesz.
Living in a virtual reality, where we're living in a totally controlled environment, where very few people realize the extent to which we are all manipulated and controlled by unseen forces. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that our society is the most manipulated and controlled society in history because of the programming and conditioning we all undergo through both mass media and public education.
We're seeing a society that not only has a lot more people of lower IQ, but a lot fewer people of higher IQ. In other words, a dumbing down, a chemical dumbing down of society. So everyone's sort of mediocre. That leaves them dependent on government because they can't excel. We have these people of lower IQ who are totally dependent. Then we have this mass of people who are going to believe anything they're told because they can't really think clearly. And very few people of very high IQ who have good cognitive function who can figure this all out. And that's what they want. So, you know, you can kind of piece it together as to why they are so insistent in spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars of propaganda money to dumb down society.
Constantly assaulted by throughout our life conditions us, it programs us to a particular worldview.
Is they are absolutely propagandizing the world with all of their theses about the nature of the universe that we live in, where we come from, our origins, the origin of the universe, and so forth.
The project is literally the secularization of the world.
Engaged in running your mouths, doing your business, multiplying, buying houses, cars, business, whatever you're doing. And when you're told about God, religion, life, morality, you're saying, look, I ain't got no time for that.
Because this media is here and designed to make sure that they ask no critical questions. question, that they ask no critical question to make sure that the only thing that they are concerned about is having a good time. The only thing they're concerned about is filling their bellies. The only thing they're concerned about is acquiring more and more material things. And so that is why today, one of the struggles that you have as young people, that when you want to do different events and you want to talk about real issues, you have the struggle of many of your peers who've been so conditioned in this matrix that they would rather party than listen to the truth. They would rather party and shop and go to the mall than to stand up for issues of justice.
What's your problem?
Telewizja to masowy hipnotyzer mas oraz umysłów całego świata. Nieustannie wszczepia ona w umysł człowieka pogląd na rzeczywistość. A kiedy już ów pogląd przyjmiemy, każda informacja, która do nas dociera, jest analizowana w odniesieniu do tego poglądu. Tak więc globalna populacja ludzi poddana jest zwyczajnie masowej hipnozie. Kiedy widzimy ludzi, którzy nagle zdali sobie sprawę, że byli manipulowani, co o nich mówimy? Co oni sami o sobie mówią? Mówią, obudziłem się. I to jest dokładnie to, co się stało. Kiedy później mówią, hej, teraz widzę. To tak jakby przyszedł ktoś, na przykład hipnotyzer, i pstryknął palcami. I wtedy mówią, teraz widzę. Masowa hipnoza. Telewizja to największy hipnotyzer na Ziemi. I w tym celu został stworzony. Wszystko sprowadza się do tego, aby wbudować w nas odruch warunkowy, który spowoduje, że będziemy automatycznie reagować, to znaczy preferować dany produkt bądź daną ideę. Oglądając telewizję, zwróć uwagę na sposób, w jaki różni speakerzy przekazują wiadomości, a zdasz sobie sprawę, że ich sposób przekazu informacji jest podobny do sposobu, w jaki mówi hipnotyzer. Speaker mówi prosto do kamery, tym samym patrząc ci prosto w oczy. Kolejny element techniki hipnotyzerskiej. Eksperci pracują 24 godziny na dobę, aby odeprzeć kolejny zamiar ataku na Amerykę i obawiają się, że w niedalekiej przyszłości terroryści będą mogli łatwo wśliznąć się w szeregi obywateli Ameryki. Reportaż Boba o najnowszych atakach Al-Kaidy. Przywódcy rządowi coraz bardziej martwią się tym, że kolejny atak na Amerykę będzie atakiem z wewnątrz, dokonanym przez Amerykanina wyćwiczonego w terrorze. Wniosek z tego taki, że rozpoczyna się w tym kraju wewnętrzny terroryzm i że do jego rozwoju najbardziej przyczynia się internet. Ale moje pytanie do pana brzmi, słyszałem, że 17 dnia tego miesiąca George zatwierdził egzekutywę, która mówi, jeśli będziesz protestował przeciw wojnie w Iraku, twój majątek... Przepraszam, wyłączyłem pana.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Terror. War on terrorism. War against terrorism.
Global war on terror.
Global terrorism. Global terrorism. Global terrorism. Global terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism. Terrorism. Terrorism. Terror. The evil terrorists. 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 Terrorists.
Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists. Terrorists.
Terrorists.
Terrorists.
Terrorists.
Terrorists. Terrorists.
It's so sacred we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America?
Also, were you a member of Stolen Rooms in college with Bush? Were you in the same secret society?
That's all right. Let me answer his question.
Excuse me, were you arrested? Whoa. Is anybody watching this? I didn't do anything! Ow! Ow! Ow!
That's what makes us a great country. That people can stand up and tell people what's on their mind.
Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
What the hell? Wet rabbit.
Do you want to know what it is?
There has been a long-held consolidation of ownership of the different medias, press, publishing, film, music, television, consolidated ownership into the hands of very few individuals, the multinational corporations. Today, there are half a dozen multinational corporations that are controlling the information and entertainment choices that people have.
Channels are owned by the same giants that own the TV networks and the cable systems. More channels are great, but when they're all owned by the same people, cable doesn't advance localism, editorial diversity, and competition. And those who believe the internet alone will save us from this fate should realize that the dominating internet news sources are controlled by the same media giants who control radio, TV, newspapers, and cable.
Now what is happening is probably one of the most effective, diabolical means of propaganda. The television, the media, that in its inception appeared to be a very innocent tool, has now become a powerful tool of mind control. Anybody can be demonized. And people are watching that television and they believe in it. If the CNN says it, it must have happened. This is being beamed all over the world, in the mountains of Nepal, in the deserts of the Sahara, in the jungles of South America. Somebody got a TV. And they're watching the international propaganda or one-sided information that is being spread throughout the world. This is the new deception. And so this order, this order that some people speak about is an order that would have religion on the side. People who believe in God, you consider to be an ignorant person, a backward person. It also glorifies race and nationalism. It also promotes class divisions. There's the rich and the poor, and it seems like in many countries, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That is what we see on the outside. On the inside of the people's hearts, they are being deceived into the love of the life of this world. And I think this is one of the greatest parts of this new world order, is that it is a confusion. It is a fantasy world being promoted to you. It is an international Disneyland, which is being propagated to the people of the world. So you think that that's what the world is. You think that everything will be okay if you live in a certain way, if you eat certain foods, if you act in a certain way. This is raw. It is deception.
As a producer I know, successful producer, I will not mention names, but opinion about women on film from beginning to end is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa! I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because the whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them, and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time. And you think, hey, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. And he floated in. Sideways, and it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk but they glide. And he began to talk tortures. I wanted to leave, and because I knew that I didn't want to work with him. And he was getting scary. And then I turned around, and it was on top of the Peninsula Hotel. I turned around to avoid his steady gaze at one point, and I was looking at a building with the top of the sixes on it. So there was a huge illuminated 666 in red. And I went from that to that to that, and he started smiling. And I thought, oh no, Chris Walken is the Antichrist.
Czy Brad Pitt również wystąpili naprzeciw, aby wesprzeć powyższe zarzuty? Myślisz, że w Hollywood chodzi o robienie filmów? Film to tylko produkt uboczny. Chodzi o pieniądze, ale co ważniejsze, władzę i kontrolę. Ludzie, którzy władają Hollywood, również władają Ameryką i resztą świata i nie interesują ich żadne filmy. Jeśli uważasz, że brzmi to szalenie, poczekaj, aż usłyszysz Mela Gibsona. Światowej sławy mega gwiazda został zbanowany przez Hollywood jako aktor i producent, dzięki publicznemu stwierdzeniu, że Hollywood to wylęgarnia pasożytów, która ucztuje przy krwi dzieci. Tekst. Hollywood to zinstytucjonalizowany krąg pedofilski, to wylęgarnia pasożytów, ucztujących przy krwi dzieci. Każde studio w Hollywood jest skupione i opłacone krwią niewinnych dzieci. Tekst: studia Hollywood przesiąknięte krwią niewinnych dzieci. Krew dzieci jest tak popularna, że dosłownie działa tam jako waluta sama w sobie. Elity Hollywood to wrogowie rodzaju ludzkiego, łamią każde z boskich przykazań, w tym świętość dzieci. To jest otwarty sekret w Hollywood. Ci ludzie mają swoją własną religię, nauki spirytystyczne i własne zasady socjalne i moralne. Mają własne święte księgi, są chore. Uwierzcie mi, nie mogli być bardziej przeciwni temu, za czym stoi i co popiera Ameryka. Hodują krew małych dzieci, jedzą ich wnętrzności. Jeśli dziecko doznawało cierpienia ciała i psychiki przed śmiercią, wierzą oni, że daje im to ekstra siły życiowe. Ci ludzie prosperują na bólu, traumie, stresowi, nadużyciu i cierpieniu. W każdym z nas jest kreatywna i miłościwa siła, która pomaga nam przejść przez życie. Ci ludzie tego nie mają. W ich przypadku jest to coś totalnie odwrotnego. Używają i molestują dzieci, przerzucają wielką ilość dzieci każdego roku. Ich wierzenia spirytystyczne, jeśli tak to można nazwać, nakierowują ich na zbieranie żniwa energii dzieci. Oni przy tym dosłownie ucztują i dzięki temu prosperują. Dzieci to ich najcenniejsza waluta, jak marka premium kawioru, kokainy, diamentów i steków. Jakie pieniądze w tym leżą? Nie masz pojęcia. To nie jest nic nowego. Jeśli poszukasz informacji, dowiesz się, że jest to metafizyczny, alchemiczny fenomen i możesz go odnaleźć za sceną kurtyny w każdej erze naszej historii. Jest to ciemna, wielowymiarowa, okultystyczna sztuka i praktyka, używana przez ostatnie kilkaset lat, w celu społecznego oprogramowania i kontroli umysłu i wzniesiona na wyżyny dzięki Hollywood w Ameryce w naszej erze.
When you're buddies with the devil, what are the things that specifically that the devil's telling you, that he's tempting you with?
False realities, things that you don't have, things that you want, things that you can't get.
Like money?
Money, fulfillment, a degree, opportunity, a better job, a better neighborhood, a better home. Maybe some people couldn't get a girlfriend. So the devil said, we can do witchcraft, we can get her. She'll never look at you, she never wants you. But there's people that have witchcraft done on them. They won't marry that person. They do all that. We promise you, you'll be stable. All these false realities that are all smoke and mirrors that they promise you, the devil promise you, like in Hollywood.
Yeah.
If you go to those people in Hollywood, you see Katy Perry falling apart from time to time, Cardi B falling apart. Yes, they got the Rolls Royce. Yes, they got the big house. Yes, they're wearing the Patek Philippe in diamonds.
Yeah.
Out of course.
Yeah.
Out of course. Because behind the scenes, they're crying. Behind the scenes, they're falling apart. They're being tormented. They sleep, but they can't rest.
Yeah.
I don't need listen, God owns the cattle of 1,000 hills.
Yeah.
If he wants to bless me with something, or he wants to give me something, it is from his heart to my hands. And if he gets to me, I'm cool. And if he don't, I'm still good.
Yeah.
Because I got him.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else.
When I get back, I walk up and they ask me for my name. So I gave them my name and my ID. And they searched the list, found my name, checked me off, and welcomed me inside. They held the door open, and I walked inside and walked in a maze of black curtains. There's like 10,000 people in this room. And there's like a DJ set up with people dancing. There's a rock band further in that are playing a live show. There's benches and couches and chairs, people sitting there talking. There's a table set up with pizza. There's another table set up with snack foods. And there's another table set up with beer. There's another table set up with hard liquor. And then there's tables set up with different drugs. So if you want to do mushrooms or smoke weed, there's a table for that. You know, if you want to snort cocaine, there's a table for that. If you want to shoot up with heroin, there's a table for that. You know, if you want to take MDMA and acid, there's a table for that. And, you know, I'm watching the entire room. I'm walking all over the place. In the very back, far right corner, there's 5 or 6 giant beds all pushed together and about 20 people on them having sex. Everybody's naked. And this girl looks up and says, "You're free to join us. Just take off all your clothes and join us." There's no way I'm jumping on this bed. Like, you guys have fun. Knock yourself out. I'm going to go over here and look at something else. I was at a Hollywood party, and there was a girl there that was about 13 years old. I had just seen her in a movie, and she went through that room going up to directors and producers. She'd whisper something in their ear and take them into a back room. And then 15 minutes later, she'd come back out and she'd do it again. And she'd come out and she'd be cleaning her mouth, adjusting her skirt, adjusting her bra, maybe something that she would have to adjust when she came out. But she made it very clear what she was doing in the back room. And she came up to me and she asked me, she said, "I understand that you can further my career." And I said, "Yeah, I can." She goes, "Well, why don't you come in the back room and let's work out a deal?" And I asked her how old she was. And she said, "I'm old enough." I said, "Why don't you come back to me when you're 18? And she goes, "By the time I'm 18, I'll be a superstar." I said, "Then you won't need me." And I got up and walked away from her. But that didn't stop. Like, everybody she walked up to took her in the back room. And she ended up being in some huge movies right after that. My wife says that every time there's a famous person in the news that's caught in a scandal, I look more and more legit. I mean, he's in there for human trafficking and rape and crossing state lines to have sex. And, I've also heard pedophilia, and that's one of the steps in becoming a rock star, is having sex with children.
Revo, the wicked actress, played Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl just this past weekend. You are an ex officio member of the Kennedy Center. My question is, would you ever put that show with Cynthia Erivo at the Kennedy Center?
I mean, obviously, look, that stuff's done to be provocative and to insinuate, but I think for people of faith, none of this should be new.
Yeah.
It's been true from the beginning in Christianity. Christianity's been mocked.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things, and, and look at him trying to cover it up. It's hilarious, hilarious.
If you're looking for your inner beast, it's most likely living inside of a dark muse, energy and power.
Key element to this entire operation.
Matrix, hell.
I will finally step out of the shadows, and the entire world is gonna know the name of King Algae Rip.
We're in the computer?
Yeah.
A previously unimaginable time of modern technology. Advances that allowed the rulers of this world to construct and direct our stories in ways we previously never imagined. As a result, new techniques to control the population were realized. These are the people from the companies that we have trusted to deliver us our news and tell our stories. This has always been about controlling what we as the population think and hear. They help create our culture and influence our society. We as citizens only trust them because as a society, we think that the gatekeepers have our best interest in mind.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts, and it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job. That is our job. That is our job. Our job.
It's pretty simple if you think about it. To control the population, you have to control the people messaging the population. Some of these stars have 20, 30 million followers. That's more followers than CNN, Fox, ABC, NBC. These people have to be controlled. They can't just go off a message and start saying whatever they want to say. They have to be somewhat reined in. They have to be controlled, or they do not get the platform to have the voice that they have.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
If you stop for a second and you just look at the bigger picture and you check out for a minute and you kind of compare the ancient times to today, well, back then they had demigods and gods. They were like Achilles, Hercules, Apollo, Mercury. All these were demigods. And that's who the people in those days looked up to. Well, today we have all these people like Jay-Z, Rihanna, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. In film, we have Brad Pitt, Will Smith. We have all these big stars. And the way they prop them up and they put them up on stage is like they're gods or demigods.
In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Most people don't want to cross the psychological line that this stuff is going on. And we all have a mental defense mechanism. It's like finally admitting there's an elite pedophile ring. I mean, most people just don't want to go there. And the same is here. Psychologically, you lose your safety, your security, and whatever innocence you have when you realize that this stuff is really going on. And it's a chore to cross over that barrier and realize, oh my gosh, this stuff is really happening. And that's why it takes critical thinking. The people have got to look at this stuff critically and see what they're being fed so they can cross that psychological line that they just refuse to see it when it's right in front of them.
When Kevin said there's an elite pedophile ring, well, I'm thinking to myself, this is a hard thing for me to come to terms with. Now, it made me start thinking about conversations and things I'd heard, but I never saw it. It's not out in the open. And to me, I was like, no one could do that. Because, I mean, if I saw someone hurting a kid, I would kill them. I mean, I would literally kill them. I would never allow someone to hurt a child in front of me. Things Kevin was saying were things that were hard for me to cross the barrier. I did not want to believe it. I didn't want to go there. But as I went down this journey, I forced myself to go consider, what if this is real? NBC, Fox, I didn't believe any of them. I just wanted to read it, absorb it, and digest it, and trust what my gut told me I was reading. As I did my research, I began to understand there's a very small group of people that influence all the companies that we watch. So they used to call them the Big Six. But Disney just bought Fox, and Disney controls Marvel, and Disney owns Lucas Studios. So look at that giant audience right here. Say a small group of people control the narratives and the content that we all see on all the channels. It makes you feel like, oh, I have lots of choices, but you don't. Who's telling them what to put on those channels? Where does that lead?
Tonight, the FBI is on the case, and they are warning big companies in America to protect their data after a big Hollywood studio got hit by hackers and several blockbuster movies ended up online.
This is the first time the United States has accused a foreign government of a cyber attack against an American corporation.
And this interested me because I worked over at Sony quite a bit during my career, and I actually had to get LifeLock during the Sony hack, so I was curious. I was like, what was this really about? Well, the narrative put out in the public was Seth Rogen and James Franco made a movie about North Korea. And so they were mad, and so they decided to hack Sony to teach them a lesson. That was a public narrative that went out, and that's what I was like, well, that makes sense. You know, I know Seth and I know James, and they're definitely pushed the envelope of comedy, and their sense of humor is definitely their own. And I thought to myself, okay, that makes sense.
And now private emails are going public.
It's a public relations disaster.
But what I found really interesting as I examined the WikiLeaks documents was it showed that the heads of one of our biggest movie studios in America was in direct communication with very important people in our government. It didn't surprise me. I was like, okay, well, either they're friends or there's something more to it. So I never really thought about the government influencing our content or our stories. Could they be influencing our story and our content? Like, these were real questions that I never had asked myself. I just did the jobs. I went to work, I did my job, I did whatever was asked, and went home. Never thought about this stuff. So I was like, I don't really know anybody that can answer these questions. And I reached out to this guy who I'd been watching online. His name was Kevin Shipp. And for those of you who don't know who Kevin Shipp is, he's a CIA whistleblower. He worked in counterintelligence, and he served in many capacities in his tenure at the CIA.
This is The Big Picture, an official television report to the nation from the United States Army.
was an OSS memo, the precursor to the CIA, where they were doing a study of the use of motion pictures in America as a means of psychological warfare. So it goes all the way back to pre-1947, when U.S. intelligence was using motion pictures to alter the thinking of Americans in the United States.
The morale of our troops is high. The laughter, music, and general entertainment which comes out of a single small package like this one have helped to build that morale.
The CIA is funneling information into Hollywood. Hollywood is putting out in the movies, and the population believes it.
Taxes to bury the Axis.
This document right here is a FOIA document. Anybody in America, anybody can request this. It's Freedom of Information Act. And in the 40s, they were telling you they controlled the radio stations. They controlled most of the mainstream media. They're telling you right here that motion pictures are used as psychological warfare. Why would they stop doing it?
At no time has the CIA engaged in any political activity or any intelligence activity that was not approved at the highest level.
Alan Dulles groomed and recruited Ian Fleming, and Dulles and the CIA actually helped Fleming write his books and paint the CIA in a favorable light. And they also, Dulles helped produce Thunderball to make the CIA and agents look like honorable, you know, cool people. The CIA actually helped him write the books and write the script for that movie. And then the president of MPAA was actually providing intelligence to the CIA as an operative in that position in Hollywood.
Mr. Fleming, in your books there's a great amount of detail. Is this detail based on personal experience? Do you make it up? Where does it come from?
Well, I can say it's 90% from personal experience, really. Of course, if I started sticking too close to the espionage, true espionage work of today, I should be in trouble with the Official Secrets Act in England, even supposing I had access to information.
Wrap my head around, because it's a lot of subset programs. And I was really surprised that Brad Martin knew about MKUltra.
People think that research people are crazy for talking about MKUltra, mind control. Even if they acknowledge that that existed, they go, oh, well, that ended in the 70s. That's a crock of shit.
And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassination plot.
The movie that I did involving that topic was Zoolander.
The fashion industry has been behind every major political assassination over the last 200 years.
I mean, at the time, I was making a comedy and I had no idea what I was involved with. But now looking back on the movie, I'm blown away at just the propaganda.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
In a movie like Zoolander, when they're showing you that they're controlling Derek Zoolander's mind through mind control, you realize that they're trying to desensitize you and to make you think that what you're watching is fiction because it's in a comedy.
It's like a mass MKUltra now. Their purpose is to capture the minds of the people and feed them false history. The CIA is funneling information into Hollywood. Hollywood is putting out in the movies, and the population believes it.
All right, so look, here's the deal. They have been desensitizing us since we were born, and I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids, back in the day, used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it. How many of the media companies in today's world connected back to Washington? So I started looking. It was like a family tree. The connections between our government personnel and the media corporations was unbelievable. Google, Amazon, Netflix, Twitter, CNN, ABC. So what would happen if all these companies had the same political ideology or agenda? We as this population like to hear people confirm our confirmation biases. We like to hear people tell us that we're right. We don't like to be wrong. And we believe that the people on the media and the people that we're listening to have our best interests in mind. The problem is what if they don't? So if you stop and think about it, they can place any agenda on the population that they choose.
I think that Hollywood is teaching bad morals to the youth of this country, as well as adults. Desensitizing of violence to the masses. You can't deny that. My kids have seen so many people get killed in very violent ways.
3 times as much gun violence now.
And the sex that's in PG-13 movies.
Why?
Every Disney movie, there's a major character, usually a parent, that gets killed. Trauma to the child. Why? It's so horrible. What a bad story. Why do you need to start a story with a parent dying? Always. It's so sad.
Under MK Ultra, they experimented on children. We were even taught this in psychophysiology program that if you get to a child between ages 1 and 6 or 1 or 8, especially with sexual abuse or sexual trauma, you will split their personality and they will be imprinted the rest of their life. And many times that results in split personalities and dissociative behavior and other things.
These occult topics are being introduced to our kids, and most parents aren't even aware of it.
Silly old rabbits, lovely match hairs.
Smoke a little doobie, sit around and talk. And my blood sugar's rubbing like a rock, I need a pecan pie. Yeah.
I'm the devil, and I'm here to say I'm the most evil rapper in the USA. All my homies and my bitches say, oh.
I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys? You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. Oh. And I takes them to Pleasure Island. They never come back as boys. Scout around, and any good prospects you find, bring him to me. Yes, Chief. I'll pay you well. I got plenty of dough.
Right here, boys, right here. Get your cake, pie, dill pickles, and ice cream. Eat all you can. Be a glutton. See the model home? It's open for destruction. And it's all yours, boys. It's all yours.
This is a life. Pump-a-donkey?
Yeah. It sure is.
Come on, let's have another. And what's your name? Okay, you'll do. In you go. You. And what might your name be?
Alexander.
so you can talk.
Yes, sir. I want to go home to my mama.
Take him back. He can still talk.
Hello, Brother Roger. Come right in, Brother Squidward. Thank you. This almost makes the other 353 days worth living for. For centuries, cephalopods have had but one nemesis, that he among you who wishes to join the large face, your greatest fear, cantankerous More Ilias! I'll never forget my initiation ceremony. Brother Squidward, for thousands of years, no outsiders have witnessed this sacred initiation. You have desecrated the sanctity of this lodge, but...
By the all-seeing eye, we are worthy, we are not.
What are you two idiots doing?
Sacred ritual. The secret royal order of the Good Neighbor Lodge.
Is this some stupid club you two made up?
Baby. It's a secret. I would like to call this meeting of the Good Neighbor Lodge to order. Let's begin with roll call. Patrick. Members of the Good Neighbor Lodge, we are sworn to protect our Presidente from danger.
What's going on?
Threat detected. Code red. Code red. Like a carnival ride!
Run for your life!
It's him. This always gives me the creeps, sir.
He's the president of Hollywood. He's supposed to give you the creeps.
Greetings, your tinseliness, imperious leader of Hollywood.
He's the president of Hollywood. He's the president of Hollywood. He's the president of Hollywood. He's the president of Hollywood.
And finally, we saved the best for last. The all-seeing, all-knowing, all-partying Illuminati!
I love you, Jay-Z.
Bring me. Lin-Manuel.
Illuminati confirmed.
Ugh, Dietrich.
Well, if it isn't the reheated leftovers of Rand Ridley, I thought they fired you for all of this. It's a mess.
Dream on, Dietrich. Cognito is more powerful than ever. We control the president, big oil, and I have a button that can move the moon.
Cute, but you're still the secret society no one's ever heard of. The Illuminati's a name brand.
We make it rain, bitch.
Cognito controls the weather. We literally make it rain.
Okay, Boomer.
What? You're 1,000 years old.
I tell you what, if you can beat me at this year's power struggle, I won't pants you in front of the Pope and Instagram it for the whole shadow world.
You suck so hard.
Oh, shit. Are you Poland? Because that German guy straight up owns you.
Oh, God. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Hide me.
Gigi! I recognize your tired face from your application selfie. You know about filters, right?
She applied to work at the Illuminati? Only 1 or 2.
100 times?
If you need us, we'll be in the room where it happens.
Where what happens?
If you have to ask, honey, you'll never know.
Just another day as Queen of the fucking Illuminati! Lin-Manuel, start rapping about how much you suck.
Yes, Queen. Yo, yo, yo. Gonna flip the script. I look dumb in those photos where I'm biting my lip. I am nothing.
I had to run the Illuminati's Disney Channel division, Reagan. Doc McStuffins? More like Doc McStuff with satanic messages. You're watching the Disney Channel.
Since a child, all of your favorite childhood programs are filled with occult symbolism. The eyes are useless if the mind is blind. Take a look at this.
The symbol of the Illuminati. The symbol of the Illuminati.
Yes! Master Detective!
The Illuminati's plan for world domination. All laid out. You were right.
Of course I was!
It was only a matter of time. We cannot hide from the Master Detective forever. I am Lumino, head of the Illuminati!
Save it, Triangle Man. We came here for answers.
I suppose there's no harm in walking you through our plan for world domination. We did work hard on it. It all starts here, with the banks.
We don't care about the banks. Tell us about the animals.
Animals?
The pelican, the crab, and the seagull, fool!
I don't know what you're talking about.
Playing dumb, eh? Then we'll have to do this the hard way. Titans, go!
Conspiracy cover-up! Illuminati laser! Conspiracy grind! Grassy no game!
Now talk! Where are the animals?
Really? I don't know. I'll stop all our domination plans. I'll pull my lizard men out of Congress. We'll stop using Hollywood to hasten the New World Order.
In a motel by the Dallas Police Department on September 11, 1960.
destruction since the World Trade Center bombing.
So the biggest surge with this occult type material took place in the late 60s and the early 70s with movies like The Exorcist, Amityville Horror, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. And coincidentally, this same time period, it parallels the rise of the Church of Satan in Los Angeles, and it was founded by a guy named Anton LaVey.
So it is done.
When I was a police officer, we had cases of satanic cults right in Arlington, Virginia. Those have been around for decades. They're in the high schools, they're in the colleges, they're in the government, and they're in Hollywood.
I got to meet people like Sammy Davis and that kind of shit. Sammy told me he worshiped the devil. Sammy was like, you know, Satan is as powerful as God. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, why do you think there's so much anger in the world and killing and murder and Satan? And he saw my reaction to it, and he kind of lightened up on it. And he was like, the Dantan is dark, and it's the candles on the table, and Sammy's face over the candle. You know, Satan is as powerful as God.
From our point of view, it really makes no difference whether you pray to a father god, or to a mother goddess, or to an entire gaggle of gods and goddesses.
Michael Aquino was a high-level officer in the National Security Agency. He was and is, you'll see him today, a practicing Satanist. He created the Satanic Temple of Set, which he still runs. He was a high-level NSA officer. He's a member of the association, now used to be in the Association of Former Intelligence Officers, AFIO. He's a member of that. He's plugged in big time to the intelligence community, and he wrote a paper called Mind War. And Mind War was about psychological operations against populations, including the domestic population, using Satanist techniques and tools.
Aquino was first involved in MK-Ultra operations during the Vietnam War as part of the Phoenix program.
A satanic cult in New York, led by a character based on Aleister Crowley, summoned forth Satan to impregnate a young girl and breed an Antichrist golem child.
All about broadcast technology, radio technology, film technology, lighting, that kind of thing. And a friend of mine worked for a company at film studios just outside London. And he called me up one day and he said, you never guess who's moved in next door with a huge film project? I said, no. He said, it's Stanley Kubrick. And the film that Stanley Kubrick was making, and he'd taken over basically most of the studio complex just outside of London, was Eyes Wide Shut, featuring Tom Cruise. Now,
Please, come forward.
so Eyes Wide Shut is really an expose of these super wealthy people in stately homes. They are, if you like, the American Illuminati, the American aristocracy. And in the film you see a form of black mass. And the black mass is traditionally a satanic version of the Catholic mass. And in the film you see characters dressed as cardinals and a character dressed rather like a pope from the medieval era. And it's a ritual of sex magic witnessed by these super wealthy individuals who disguise themselves using masks which are reminiscent of the Venetian masked balls of the medieval era. And sex magic is a very specialized form of magic. It's really bringing together an atmosphere of psychic tension within the temple and combining this with sexual tension and the energy that is given out at the point of orgasm by the people that are taking part.
Eh bien, vous pensez qu'il a choisi de se mettre dans cet état. Jaden n'est pas excentrique, il suit des règles et des codes imposés. Le rouge, c'est pour le sacrifice de son identité, comme son regard vide et la pose figée. Il n'avait pas choisi non plus de porter des jupes, et encore moins de se faire humilier en public par son père. Mais comme tous les enfants stars, c'est un produit contrôlé par l'industrie. Sa vie est un cauchemar, mais il peut rien y faire parce qu'il est juste un pion. C'est ce que fait l'élite. Elle casse l'individu pour rentrer dans sa tête. Et il nous le montre. Faut juste savoir lire les codes. Son château sur la tête, c'est le symbole de l'esprit captif. Les fenêtres sont la compartimentation mentale. Pareil pour le damier noir et blanc, la division intérieure. La maison miniature, c'est l'esprit programmé, entièrement contrôlable. Les chaînes et les colliers sont des symboles de soumission. Les cheveux roses, le visage rouge, des codes de transformation, de sacrifice. Il l'habille en démon parce qu'il est possédé. Tous les artistes sont des présentoirs du pouvoir de l'élite. Ils ont tous le même style parce qu'ils suivent tous les mêmes codes, mais personne ne comprend rien. La Fashion Week, c'est pas cool, c'est une invitation à l'autodestruction.
Że istnieje poziom wiedzy i mistycyzmu, który działa za kulisami, którego naprawdę nie możemy sobie wyobrazić. Więc nie mogę już oglądać Władcy Pierścieni albo opowieści z Narni? Możesz, ale zrozum, co robią. Wiecie, oni są świetnymi opowiadaczami historii, ale upewnijcie się, że edukujecie swoje dzieci na temat tego, co oglądają, a jeśli chcesz, ciesz się opowieścią. Nie mówię ludziom, żeby tego nie robili, ale nie dajcie się zmanipulować. Nie dajcie się złapać na inkarnację Aslana w innym świecie. Nie myślcie, że istoty jak fauny i satyrowie powinny być częścią dzieł dla dzieci. Mówiliśmy o tym w innym odcinku, o Mitrze, który miałby się inkarnować ponownie. Jezus tego nie robi, to robi Aslan. Dokładnie, tak jak w przypadku Chrystusowej świadomości. Kurde, ten C.S. Lewis. Dlaczego on to napisał? By wprowadzić ludzi w błąd? Przecież niektóre z jego listów do nieprzyjaciela to naprawdę świetne dzieła. Och, wiem, jest fantastycznym pisarzem. To samo Tolkien. Walt Disney robił to samo z bajkami i innymi rzeczami. A ludzie mówią, że był wolnomularzem. Nie, chodzi o to, że był wyższy. Był częścią branży rozrywkowej. Musiał być przynajmniej różnokrzyżowcem. Walt też? Tak. Interesujące, pewnie. Przygotowują nas od dzieciństwa, a sama koncepcja bajki wraca wiele lat wstecz. Używana jest, by wprowadzać rzeczy, by gdy będą gotowi je ujawnić, łatwiej było je nam zaakceptować. I będą mogli nam powiedzieć, że przecież wam już to powiedzieliśmy. Po prostu wy tego nie zrozumieliście. Wszystko było na widoku. Wszystko, co robią, odzwierciedla, kim są, kogo czczą i ich historię, bo w ten sposób czczą swoich bogów. Musimy tylko zrozumieć, jak mówią i co mówią. A więc ta koncepcja bajki, o której mówili zarówno Tolkien, jak i Lewis, traktują Biblię jak bajkę, bo obaj to powiedzieli. Bajka to bardzo interesująca narracja, fikcja, która ma eukatastrofę, czyli ich termin wbudowany, gdzie bohater nie musi stawić czoła okropnemu końcowi. Ma to szczęśliwe zakończenie, co ponownie jest częścią koncepcji bajki. Więc kiedy mówią, że Biblia jest jak bajka, to mówią, że Jezus naprawdę nie umarł na krzyżu i nie zmartwychwstał. To ta część bajki, by zakończenie mogło być szczęśliwe. Więc teraz musisz być mistykiem i adeptem, aby zrozumieć, jak Biblia jest napisana, ponieważ dla nich to wszystko jest alegoryczne. Ale to ma sens z ich perspektywy, ponieważ mają podejście interpretacyjne, a nie dosłowne Biblii.
When you think about the entertainment industry, what comes to mind? Movies, TV, music, right? Let's talk about this entertainment.
I've been observing you.
What if this entertainment was more than just entertainment?
Now in complete control!
When you're driving home from work, what are you listening to? When you come home after a long day and turn on the TV, what do you see?
The U.S. are bracing.
Saying that they're one.
Think about all the content you've seen throughout your whole life. A lot of it has actually made us who we are today.
So you don't know what's really going on.
Have you ever stopped for just a second, though, and questioned the content?
Good morning, Vietnam!
The only thing we consume more than content is air. But we actually think about the quality of the air we breathe. Maybe it's time to take a closer look at our content.
And fear. Taxes.
Our government's always controlled our content.
The fight for freedom.
We've just never paid attention.
Freedom of speech.
Message received.
The police occupy our community.
To work with the CIA to destabilize foreign countries.
This media that we're consuming at such a rapid rate, we need to slow down and think about what we're consuming.
Bullshit going on.
What if the people in charge didn't have our best interests in mind? Now we have to ask ourselves, who's influencing our content?
Is the CIA involved in Hollywood?
Yes.
One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free.
What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers.
We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight and be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, heading the clouds who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the
Everybody is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
If you can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see, you got them. Because they'll laugh in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture of what's happening. And they have.
Czy faktycznie ludzie polecieli na Księżyc? Mam twarde dowody, które temu przeczą. Sibrel w ciągu kilku dekad wydał setki tysięcy dolarów, próbując udowodnić, że Armstrong wykonał swój mały krok na Ziemi w studiu telewizyjnym. Proszę przysiąc na Biblię, że był pan na Księżycu. Zarzucił nawet oszustwo astronautom. Jest pan tchórzem i kłamcą. Powiedział im to prosto w twarz. Dopóki nie ujawnimy prawdy, będą okłamywać społeczeństwo. Dlaczego tyle osób uważa, że rząd USA dopuścił się mistyfikacji? i w jaki sposób miał tego dokonać.
NASA w języku hebrajskim oznacza oszustwo. Jest finansowana przez rząd, nie jest prywatną firmą. Były dyrektor NASA, nazista Werner von Braun, na swoim nagrobku ma wypisany werset biblijny, Psalm 91. Niebiosa głoszą chwałę Boga, a firmament ukazuje Jego dzieło. Wszyscy astronauci są masonami, nie wspominając o niezliczonych błędach, jakie popełnili w swoich nagraniach wideo na żywo z rzekomej stacji kosmicznej, lądowaniu na Księżycu i materiałach CGI, czyli obrazach generowanych komputerowo, przedstawiających Ziemię oszukując masy,
I want to talk to him.